Good afternoon, and thank you to the American Ahmadiyya community for inviting the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, or USCIRF, to address this year's conference. As you heard, my name is Nadine Mayenza, and I've recently been appointed by President Donald Trump. For those who are not aware, USCIRF is an independent, bipartisan federal body dedicated to defending the universal right to freedom of religion or belief abroad. Based on research conducted by our professional staff and on-site visits by commissioners and staff, USCIRF issues an annual report on conditions in countries around the world and makes policy recommendations to the President, the Secretary of State, and Congress. 9 USCIRF commissioners are appointed by the President and the congressional leadership of both political parties. I personally have so much respect for this community and your continued advocacy for religious freedom and tolerance. We understand the Ahmadiyya community is present in over 100 countries and faces serious problems in places like Bangladesh, Algeria, and Indonesia. The ability to pray in mosques and identify as Muslims continues to be an issue for Ahmadis around the world. At USCIRF, we understand the country requiring the greatest attention from the international community is Pakistan. In Pakistan, both government and non-state actors have long committed religious freedom abuses to varying degrees. As a consequence, we have recommended that Pakistan be designated a country of particular concern, or a CPC, since 2002, for committing and tolerating systematic, ongoing violations. While the State Department has never designated the country a CPC, in December of 2017, it named Pakistan as its first and only country on its special watch list, which means that there will be greater scrutiny will be applied to the Pakistani government's actions concerning the protection of religious freedoms. While we welcome that step, we still believe Pakistan warrants CPC designation, and we will continue at USCIRF to advocate for that. USCIRF recently released its 2018 annual report, which includes analysis of the current challenges in Pakistan. In 2017, the country's blasphemy laws and increased extremist activity further threatened already marginalized minority communities, such as Ahmadis, Christians, Hindus, Sikhs, and Shia Muslims. Ahmadis have been singled out by the government officials and the public at large as the most persecuted religious minority in the country. The country's blasphemy law has been used to discriminate and target the Ahmadiyya community. Vigilante mob attacks on alleged blasphemers are a serious issue. Many Ahmadis are serving life sentences or long prison terms for alleged blasphemy. This includes Abdul Shakur, an 81-year-old bookstore owner and community leader who is serving an 8-year jail sentence for allegedly selling religiously divisive materials. USCIRF has adopted his case in our Prisoner of Conscience project, and commissioners have demanded that the Pakistan government release him from detention, and we will continue to advocate for him. While the community has suffered under long-running problems such as blasphemy laws, anti-Ahmadiyya hate speech and crimes have risen drastically in Pakistan leading up to the 2018 national elections that are going to be held later this month. Some extremist political parties have entered the electoral field and have shifted the national narrative even further towards extremism and bigotry. Some of these groups have held public protests and called for the campaign of hate against Ahmadis, going as far as to demand the names and positions of those in government. Perhaps more disturbing was the tacit support offered to the protesters by various military officials. This was highlighted in a viral video that showed a military leader handing out money to protesters. Earlier this month, the Islamabad High Court complied with those protesters' demands. The court declared that members of the Ahmadiyya community holding high posts in the government should be removed from their positions, and all government-issued identification documents must include a section identifying religion. This is very troubling. These developments are without measurable reforms to improve the security and political rights of religious minorities. The future of these groups are at stake. Therefore, USCIRF has recommended that the State Department negotiate an agreement with the government of Pakistan to achieve specific and meaningful reforms and provide resources for related capacity building through the State Department and USAID. With the assistance of the State Department, USCIRF hopes that the leadership in Pakistan can attempt to make genuine progress on these issues. Despite facing such serious difficulties in countries like Pakistan, Indonesia, Algeria, and Bangladesh, the Ahmadiyya community has been a longtime partner for those of us at USCIRF, assisting the Commission in many ways, including sharing reliable and well-documented information and inviting commissioners to speak at events such as these. We hope to continue this close relationship in the years to come as we continue to fight together for the rights of members of the Ahmadiyya community, as well as other religious minorities around the world that are also dealing with religious discrimination and persecution. Thank you once again for inviting me to be a part of this day.